Welcome back to SaharaTV. My name is Rudolf Okonkwo. On Wednesday, in Charleston, South Carolina, a 21-year-old racist white man interested in the segregation of races went into a black church where a Bible study was going on and opened fire. He killed 9 people, including South Carolina State Representative Reverend Clemente Pinckney. One of the killer's issue was that black people were taking over the world. Now, joining us to throw more light on what happened is the former state representative, Bakari Sellers. Mr. Sellers, welcome back to SaharaTV.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Now, let me start by asking you, our viewers are Africans in Africa and across the world, and they watch the news like everyone else, and they wonder, they don't understand why what happened in Charleston happened in America, the so-called land of the free and the home of the brave. Now, like other people in your state and across the United States, they are asking the question, why? Why? Have you come up with any answer to that?
I really don't have an answer. It's hard to explain why someone would be filled with so much hate. This young man was only 21 years old. He was born in the 1990s, so it's not as if he had experiences through Jim Crow and segregation and such. So we don't know why. But I can tell you this, and all your viewers, one thing that we're not doing is focusing too much on him. We're taking this time because the body's just dropped, you know, a little bit more than 48 hours ago. We're taking this time to celebrate the 9 lives that were lost. Many times in the media, people want to portray this victim or the shooter as something mentally deranged or something of the sort, and we're not worried about that. All we're worried about is uplifting those victims, and they meant so much to so many of us.
Now, how are people coping in the state? Because we see on TV, it appears as if people are coming together. The impression they're giving is that people are coming together, both whites and blacks. And how are people coping, especially black people?
Well, we're coping. I mean, we're angry, but we're tired. I mean, we have so much death now in the United States, so much death in the South, so much death in South Carolina, especially here. So we're tired, we're angry, we're crying, we're hugging. But this young man who went into this church where you're supposed to be able to go in peace on Wednesday night, he wanted to invoke terror, he wanted to invoke fear in the hearts of us all, and we refused to let him win. So we're going to overcome this with love, we're going to overcome this with joy. We're going to uplift these 9 people, we're going to sing with our hearts full of praise. You know, we don't have much else to do but believe, and joy cometh in the morning.
Now, in his reaction, President Obama said that these never-ending incidents do not happen in other advanced countries. Why do they happen in America?
Well, it has to do with, you know, the fact that we haven't had a discussion about race in this country. You know, we've had years and years and years and centuries of degradation and oppression, and we've never had a true discussion about the healing and where we are today. There's also a prevalence of guns. And I'm a firm believer in the Second Amendment and people's right to have guns. But this young man and many others, it's a line between, you know, someone having the right to have a gun and someone having the ability and the need to have a gun. This young man definitely didn't have the mental capacity. He was on bond already, and he definitely didn't have the faculties necessary to handle a weapon. He went in with the .45 caliber pistol, and he unloaded and reloaded 5 times and killed 9 people. He killed mothers and grandmothers. He killed fathers and uncles and brothers, and it's just a tragedy.
Now, every 2 years, more Americans die from gun violence than all the people that died in Vietnam and Iraq put together, all the soldiers, American soldiers that died in Vietnam and Iraq put together. Now, the question is, for people who are looking at America from outside, why is it that there are people, even in some southern states, still defending the unrestricted right to bear arms in America?
Well,
does it make sense?
Well, there has to be parameters to anything. You know, some people say, well, one person from the NRA who was very callous and crass and disrespectful, in my opinion, said that if everybody had guns, this wouldn't have happened. Well, you just would have had a shootout then. You know, you have to put parameters in place. Everyone, again, those who are mentally ill, deranged, disturbed, don't need to have a weapon. This young man was out on bond. He did not need to be able to buy a weapon. And, we have a lack of compassion. Since the president got elected, our first African-American president in the history of this country, the discourse has changed, the tenor has changed. Hate has risen to the top. I'm not saying more people have become hateful, but those who do hate have become louder, and it's been troublesome.
Now, the first 6 months of this year, more than 400 people have been killed by police in America. And in United Kingdom, for instance, in the last 100 years, not up to that number have been killed by police. So the question that people are asking is there anything that America knows about policing and gun that the rest of the world do not know? Why they allow something like this to be happening?
Well, we're trying to change that. And a lot of it goes to compassion, it goes to empathy, it goes to a discussion about race, because many of those people who are killed are people of color, they're African Americans. And they're being, they don't get the benefit of their dignity. That's a problem. I don't know all the answers to your questions. I'm only 30 years old and I have a lot of life to live, but all I can tell you today is all those people who died, the Trayvon Martins, Mike Browns, Eric Gardners, those 9 people yesterday, Tamir Rice and everyone else. I just have to live for them, continue to hold my head up high and persevere. And although it gets hard because we're burying so many people.
Now, I know how you feel, but I have to ask you this about the shooter. He had this fascination with the symbol of apartheid in South Africa and Rhodesia. This is something that Africans have rejected. We see that on his Facebook profile. Why are some people still fascinated with separation of races in America?
I can't answer that question because I'm not bred from that cloth. I believe in love. I believe in hope, justice, peace, truth. I want people to come together and hold each other and hug each other. I really can't tell you what's in the mind of that evil man. What I can tell you, though, is that there are 9 people who were great and good people. 9 people literally let this man who they did not know into their Bible study to sit with them and read scripture, only to be gunned down after. I want to remember their compassion. I don't really care about this young man and his feelings. That's just not the place that I'm in. Okay.
Now, let's talk about not long ago, a black man was killed by the police, Walter Scott, in New York State, unarmed. He was running away from the police. For Africans,
20 miles away.
Okay. For Africans abroad who are watching, they're asking this question: Is the life of a black man in America, is a black man in America safe?
Unfortunately, I don't know. The answer to that is yes. That's the travesty. I mean, if you can't be black and be in a church, where can you be black in America? It really is tough. I mean, it's a tough setting.
Yeah. One last question. There is a Confederate flag flying on the State House building in Columbia. And the flag signifies so many things to so many people. For black people, it signifies the horrible days of slavery. How do people live under a flag that makes them feel that way? How do you live knowing that this flag is flying on top of this building, that is your state building?
It's hard because so many people died, because so many people embraced that as race, embraced that to give them racial cover or racist cover. It's hard, but I can promise you, and I'm sure the millions of people who are watching around the world, and I hope they join me in their prayers, but we're going to take that flag down. We're going to take that flag down.
All right. Thank you so much, Bakari Sellers, for joining us.
Hey, please keep us in your prayers, and God bless you all, and God bless this world that we live in. May peace reign upon us all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a former representative of the South Carolina state representative in the House of that governs the state, talking about the killings that happened in the church and how it's having impact across Africa, across the black world, across the world, even in the United States. We don't understand it, and we hope that we'll continue to have the discussion and you weigh in when we come back. Thank you.